worse. Got some Jamaicans.
Oh, okay. How to make it worse.
Make it worse.
How to make it worse. All right. I want to hear that story. We can start off with that one. We can start out with how to make it worse. That's funny. I'll give you water just to hear it out.
Everybody knows me, really that's the old me. Going through some
I always need
changes
water.
right now. I've been on my grind just to live it out. Say what's on your mind just to hear it loud. Everybody knows me, really that's the old me. Going through some changes right here and now.
Yeah, I'm about to put my phone on D&D as well.
I think didn't I call Rosie in the middle of hers?
Yeah, you did. And we are back with another episode of the Dope Individuals Only podcast. I'm Eric, the host. I'm up here with another dope individual. Please introduce yourself.
Hey y'all, my name is Bekah. I'm a singer and stuff. You know, I be doing things out here.
You sound so gentle. Just a second ago, she's like, "Oh, he got the Taylor port on deck."
I'm multifaceted, sir.
Talking about, I know how to make it worse.
No,
all right,
for
so
real.
I do want to hear the story though, because some Jamaicans told you.
So I used to be a trainer at FedEx.
Okay.
Best and worst job of my life.
I know a lot of people that work at FedEx, and they always say the same thing. Money's great, fucking job sucks.
No, especially as a trainer, like because we got the pay incentives.
Yeah.
Like, managers couldn't.
Okay.
So they had us almost doing manager work, but we got more than the managers at some time. Like I think the max I made at one point was like 28 an hour. That's great.
That's not bad at all.
But you know, then I was getting racially harassed and got fired. It was a whole
FedEx
thing.
still on that bullshit.
FedEx, yep.
FedEx still on that bullshit.
But while I was there, I made friends with everyone though. So it's kind of sad because like I made friends with everyone, and there were a couple of van lines. I worked at the local city, so like they pack all of the delivery trucks.
Mm-hmm.
And I made friends with a lot of the drivers. And there was this one day he invited me over because all his family came through, and they were just having a little vibe in the basement. And I came downstairs, and they had Taylor port, and they had what is it? It's like it was one of those light rums, Jamaican rums.
Okay.
Like that one with it's like Ray something or Ray or Ray.
I don't know. I don't drink rum like that.
I don't know, but
I'm more
it's
of like a whiskey.
It's a white a light Jamaican rum, and you mix the two. And
it just fucked you up, put you on your ass.
Because like, if you are already just with Taylor port alone, if you drink too much
Taylor port, yep.
But then
that's just like
rum.
yeah. Is it like does it like taste like the rubbing alcohol, or is it like it's actually
really
good?
Good. It was so dangerous.
Oh.
And like Bekah and a free pour are not the healthiest.
Oh my gosh, Taylor port alone, like you said, will fuck you up. Taylor port's like what, 18% alcohol or some shit like that?
Is it?
I think so. It's like 18%, somewhere around there.
I didn't know
It's a very strong, cheap weed. Wine. You smoke?
No, not anymore.
No. Why'd you quit?
Tolerance. Spiritual awareness and self-control. I'm trying to learn how to discipline myself.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's been a couple months. I've been doing really well.
So what made you what was it going on in your life that made you like, all right, this shit gotta go?
I feel like I was making a lot of decisions for myself that I was like, look, at the end of the day, I want to be a master of myself, and I want to be one with my God. And I do realize that when it comes to drugs, that they open a lot of spiritual realms that we're not really like aware of. Mm-hmm. It's like in the moment it kind of just feels cool. And it's like, oh, it does this, but then it's like, okay, what on the back end that we're not more spiritually sensitive to are we dealing with?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel like I want to learn more about it before ever going back into it, if I do. But as for right now, like in the sense that I'm trying to focus and I'm trying to get my life back on track, because life has been really real tough lately, and I don't think I've ever been in this kind of position before. So I'm just like, I need to just let me stop, regroup, refocus, especially since it's like really expensive.
Fuck
like,
yeah.
I'm not gonna go lift for 3 hours just to spend it all on weed. Like,
yeah.
No.
It's funny. I actually bought some bud yesterday, and I typically Cash App my guy, and now Cash App will show you like how much you send to particular people, and it said $135 that I've spent this year, and I was like, holy shit, that's it. Listen, I smoke like literally an eighth of bud would probably last me like 3 months.
Seriously?
Dead ass. But like,
see, I was a really bad pothead. Like I'd probably buy, if not an eighth a week, an eighth every few days.
Oh damn. Yeah.
I don't even want. I don't
Like,
want to look at my cash apps for
yeah.
those people. Oh my god.
I don't smoke blunts. I smoke like out of a bowl. It's just a small bowl. It's just like honestly, it's one of those things where I had a long ass fucking day. I come home, toke up a little bit. I get to play some video games. I'll stretch. I might meditate. You know what I mean? Getting into that spiritual shit. I might just lay in my fucking bed and watch TV.
Yeah, you ain't got.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you ain't got to do nothing.
Productive.
Sometimes doing nothing is good for you. You know what I mean? But there is one thing I got to do real fast. Fuck, I did not. I totally forgot to make sure I turned on the camera.
I also feel like a lot of me smoking so much had just to do with my environment, because especially as a creative, I'm an outside kind of creative. Like, I'm probably in Philly every day. I'm even going to Philly today.
And you live here?
Yeah.
That's a lot of driving.
No, it is. It definitely is. I do not mind the driving. But it's like when you go to all these places, like everyone is always smoking and they're always offering. Like, potheads are the most generous people.
Yeah. Yo, you want some? You want to hit this?
And it's just like, well, yeah.
Yeah.
And then it became like a habit, and I realized that like everyone's like, oh, marijuana's not addicting, and it's just like, but then you do it for a while. And
it
then
is.
I remember how aggy I used to get when I was like, if I don't get a blunt right now, I'm like, whoa, you know what?
Ready to fight.
Curb it, because now this is something that is starting to have a mastery over me, that I'm like, oh, I have to go do something to get this, versus this is a thing that serves me.
Right.
And has a place when I say it has a place, versus when my body's like, it has to happen or you're going to have a crap day, you know?
So how do you manage it now? Because you're still going into these spaces. You just turned it off.
Just say no.
Just say no.
Just say no.
Like the commercials? So the commercials work?
I guess so.
The commercials work.
It's really funny, because it's like I said, in the creative spaces, everyone smokes. All of my friends smoke.
Right.
And it's just like, you want some? I'm like, nah, I'm chilling.
That's
like,
fire.
Y'all can do what you want to do.
But Taylorport.
I haven't had Taylorport in a very long time.
Oh, I thought. See, it's funny. That bottle's been sitting up there for a minute. That bottle's been. I ain't even gonna lie to you. That bottle's been up there for a minute. Yeah, we got a whole bunch of alcohol in this house, and like honestly, it sits around all year. Typically, like the only wine we drink is what we go out and buy for like for like an occasion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? One of those kind of things. But we don't drink a lot of alcohol, but we have out like even downstairs, like we just pull it out for our New Year's parties. Like
nice.
Yeah, like instead of going out and buying bottles.
I'm so excited to like build my bar in my house, because my mom is moving out, and she's a bourbon collector, so there's just liquor everywhere.
Loads and loads of bourbon.
Everywhere.
That's good liquor right there.
She's just taking it all away, and I'm like, space for me.
Now you get to rebuild it in your image.
Pretty much.
Now that's kind of fire. I've always wanted a bar in the house. I'm not sure how often I'd use it, but it's great for like company.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You get to.
I like to have company. I like to make drink. I'm a bartender right now, even. So it's just like.
It's right up the alley.
It's about to be lit.
Yeah, it sounds like you're gonna have a whole lot of fucking fun. So originally, during you said Rosalind, right? Rosaline. I always called her Rosalind. But you guys might have known her from an earlier podcast, very early when I started. Yeah, that's her best friend. She's the one who interrupted the episode mid-call. But listen, I one of the biggest reasons I wanted to get you up here was because of how much like shit she had to say about you, and like about like how influential and a positive light you've been in her life and everything like that. And then hearing you guys on that phone call, you know what I mean? Just that quick engagement. I was like, this is fire. I was like, we really get to not only see, it's kind of like she spoke you into existence, because she's talking about you and 2 minutes later you're on the phone with her.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You never heard the episode?
I did. Like I read through it. I listened through it, but it was a while ago.
You got to check it out.
I have really, really bad memory.
I do too. Don't worry about it. It's fine. There's people like I grew up with. I remember playing with them as kids, and I run into them in the mall, and they're like, "Yo, E, what's up?" And I'm sitting there, I'm like, "Shit, what's your name?"
Not yesterday.
I feel like a piece of shit.
I was in Philly a couple days ago, and tell me why I'm in the middle of Blind Barber, right? And this girl's like, "And yeah, because I know you," and I'm like. She's like, I went to elementary school with you. I was like,
why do I take up that much space?
What do you mean? I literally had not seen that girl since 3rd grade.
That's what, like also, 8 years old? 7, 8 years old?
Clearly my face don't change. Like a whole 20-something year old now. And she's like, I remember you.
You left an impact. That's how I kind of think of it. It's like you leave such an impression on people that they can't help but to remember you. But for me, it's like I meet so many motherfuckers in a week, in a month, in a year that it's almost impossible. Like I don't forget faces, but names, forget about it.
It's starting to become hard to even remember faces. Like
I get the faces, no problem. Do you ask them like when you forget their name and you know them? Do you ask them their name? Like that doesn't make you feel bad?
I know it definitely does, but at the same time, like, would you rather me say your name or just be like, hey?
Shit.
I was talking to
I gotta grow some balls then.
That one, you see that one over there with the, I'm not gonna do all that.
I know.
I'm just ask you what your name is.
I'll fuck around and I'll wait till somebody say your name.
I mean, granted, if I could be slick with it and be like, what's his name, real quick, like to my friend over here that I already trust, then yeah, I'm gonna do that. But
you don't mind asking?
I find myself in that situation a lot. Like I said, I'm outside a lot, so it's getting hard to remember the faces now too, because it's like I literally meet so many people, and then on top of that I'm a bartender, so it's literally just people
all the time,
all day. Then I go out to this next place and it's more people, and it's just like, okay,
shaking hands,
until
giving
you become
hugs.
someone that is like consistently around, I probably won't remember your name. I'm probably not even trying to, honestly.
That's how it is for me a lot of the time. Like unless I plan to network at some point or another and we exchange like information, I'm probably not going to remember. And it's no slight. This is for anybody. Listen, this is no slight to you guys. It's not that I don't care, but it's just like I got a lot of moving parts in my life. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's more like for my sanity than trying to fucking remember everything for everyone in every space. But back to what I was going to ask. Like, what do you think I don't know how I want to phrase it, because your engagement with Rosie really showed me that like not everybody has real friends. Not everybody has motherfuckers they can truly lean on. So like, what's it mean to you to be a good friend to someone?
Reciprocity.
Yeah, reciprocity.
I feel like selflessness and reciprocity. Because first of all, people don't have real friends. They have people who are along maybe for the ride, but who actually don't have true investment in them.
Right.
And Rosie's one of those friends. We kind of, I don't want to say we saved each other's life, but like
it feels that way.
But it's just like we came at such an interesting time. Like my first performance actually, it's kind of where I met her. I mean, we met at an open mic, but like we really connected at this one event that our good friend Roselle Zell and Rebellious co-held in. Okay. I think it was East Stroudsburg, one of their theaters. It was literally my first performance, and then we went outside and we're just, instead of like paying attention to the rest of the performers, me and her were sitting on a bench, just like, I guess for all intents and purposes, it's like trauma dumping.
Trauma. I just started spitting that shit. I just started spitting.
Just like, she was open and vulnerable, and I was reciprocal, and you could really quickly tell, like, we're not over here just like trying to dump. It's just like you said something. Oh my God, I relate because here's my story. And oh my God, I relate because here's my story. Right. And the fact that we were able to trust each other in that space was great. Oh no, I lied. I see my memory is technically is really bad.
She prefaced this.
I feel like we really connected, but technically we were hanging out before that. Actually, a really funny story is like we were going to the mall one day. Mm-hmm. I guess like looking for outfits for this thing because like I said, this is us walking down the mall. We're walking down the mall and we're just like, I'm passing Claire's. I'm like, hey, let's go get piercings. She's like, okay, and I was like, okay.
You're
like,
down?
Okay.
Yeah, like you with this
and then
shit?
Literally we went and she got like a piercing. I don't know what this is called. Right up here. And then I got these two and these two. Mm-hmm. I got 4 piercings. She got 1. And that was like the beginning of our forever friendship bond. It's like, hey, let's just go get piercings. And then it continued at that show where we just got like even deeper and started to understand more about each other.
Does both of you guys being creatives and having a passion in music like help cultivate that relationship that you guys have built?
I think it did in our case. I don't think that just because like we are music people that like, oh, that's why we are such close friends. Like I have other really close friends that don't do music at all that I feel like I've been just as deep with, just as open and vulnerable with. Yeah. But it definitely helped us in getting closer in the fact that we do everything together. Like we used to go to so many open mics. Like we had a rotation just almost every day, just like throughout Allentown and Bethlehem. We were at everything. That's singing what's up. Together, and it just like it helped build that bond because we spent so much intentional time together. Mm-hmm. And then we started writing together, and it was like, oh crap.
What do you say? Like, what are you looking for? Like in somebody that, how did you know you could actually be friends with this person? I mean, you meet a random girl at a show. You know what I mean? And y'all just have this one vulnerable moment. How do you know that can go on to something else? How do you know that can expand?
I don't feel like initially I just knew. I feel like it's just a consistency thing. Like if you're showing that you have good character, like you met Rosie, it's like you can almost automatically tell though that she's a kind and giving person, and she truly just has good intentions for everything that she does.
Yeah.
But it was something that she consistently showed me as we like were hanging out. Like I saw the way that she responded to other people and even to myself, and just like it was refreshing to see someone so honest and so open and so like myself. It was just like, oh my, we say it all the time, like I found my soul sister. It's just like we get each other because we do the same things. Like we're still our own individual people,
right?
And we have our own ways of going about it, but our hearts are the same for those things, you know.
Understood. Does she help you at all, like on this healing journey? You know what I mean, of change that you're going on right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very much so. Like we have that kind of relationship where it's true relationship. There's no like, and it was built to that because it wasn't always like initially like that, but it was built to that where we're like, there's no eggshells. If we're doing something wrong, we're going to call each other out. She's like, I think you're kind of just living in fear, or I think you're not respecting yourself, or you are giving people too much access, whatever the thing might be. She's going to tell me that.
Does that not bother you? Or do you respect
No.
the fact that she keeps it 100 with you?
I respect, a big thing I say all the time is that people are so scared of judgment. Everyone's like, no one can judge me but God. No, it's like, okay, yeah, sure. But at the end of the day, God gave us judgment for a reason.
Right.
We make decisions based on what we see. And when it comes to people that you're in relationship with, and very specifically in relationship with people who know you and have your best interests at heart, their judgments are coming based off what you've told them you want for yourself.
Right.
So it's like when they see you acting out of line, they'd be like, hey, friend, out of love, because I know where you want to go and I know what you're about, you're not living up to your standards.
I respect that.
And it's not like if you don't do this, I'm never going to talk to you again thing either. It's just like, I'm making you aware because I love you. And I'm here for you in whatever kind of decisions you make afterwards.
I believe that a lot of people do take offense. I mean, I see that a lot, like with my wife, like whenever we have something that we have to go over with each other, sometimes it can be, we can get defensive. Yeah. You know what I mean? And nobody likes to feel like they're under the microscope or they're not doing anything right. But it just like you said, it is very important that you got those people to help you stay grounded in who you are as an individual.
And I think that's a really key piece even to our relationship being so healthy in the way that it is, because we're not afraid to let people call us out. Not that we've never been defensive with each other, but even still we're able to recognize it and come back and be like, hey, I got defensive about this because it was triggering in the moment, but I thought about it and I sat with it and what you said, and I realized, okay, no, there's truth here. And if there's truth here and there's room for me to grow, I'm going to do that.
Right.
I don't feel like everyone does that in a relationship. If someone calls them out, they're all like, why? Like,
yeah, fuck you mean?
Fuck you mean? Like, I feel like people will be able to get much further in their relationships when they realize, especially, I guess it depends on like who you have in your life and how much you trust them, you know? Mm-hmm. But like the people that you put in your life should be people that you trust with your life.
Of course.
They should be. And obviously that's built. It's not just like you meet a person. It's like, hey,
yeah.
I'm gonna give you everything.
We locked in.
It happened to work out for me and Rosie, but it's not really a way that I go about every relationship. You know, it was just like it was a different dynamic there. You could sort of tell in the moment. I feel like I'm generally a really discerning person, but sometimes not when Taylor Port's involved. But but it was just like the fact that we were able to have that kind of relationship. Not even a lot of people have that, even with the people that they've been in relationship with for years with. Been in a relationship with 4 years.
with 4 years?
Been in
a relationship
with.
Oh, okay. For years. I got you.
Yeah,
I was like, hold on. I think she's missing a word.
I feel like there's a big piece of humility that's missing in relationships, which don't allow people to truly connect at a deeper level than just kind of like we're surface, we're here.
Have you always been that person that like looks a little bit deeper than what is going on right here in this moment? You know what I mean? Or is this something that you've been working toward, like to go be able to take a step back, like, okay, let me self-reflect, let me see what the fuck I did wrong, because clearly she's saying something even though I feel a way about it. Have you always been that way, or is that something that you've been working at?
Both. I feel like I've always had that piece to me. Look, I at least I can be honest with myself. Like if I'm doing something wrong, I know I'm doing it wrong. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's very rare that I get into a situation where I haven't like weighed all the options. Like I'm that person that will sit and have that like self-talk, whether it just be in my head or out loud. And I've run through a couple scenarios and the reasonings behind and all that kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Like,
I kind of fucked up this one.
Like I can't really say, oh, it just happened. It's like, no, I thought about it and I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'm doing it anyway, you know? But so I've always tried to be a fairly honest person with myself and try to do that as well with my friends, but I have not always been the most gracious and what's the word I'm looking for? Loving in my approach to it. That's something
as far as dealing with yourself,
dealing with myself, yeah, and other people around me. Yeah.
I think ourselves are the hardest people to like, one, address, two, forgive, and three, love. I've realized that a lot of us coming from, I'm not sure where you grew up at. Was it here?
In between here and Jersey, yeah.
Okay. What part of Jersey?
North.
Oh man, yeah. We've been getting an influx of New Jerseyans or whatever the fuck they're called.
It's really weird because like regardless of where I live, my parents didn't let me go outside. So
no? Oh, no, that's why you're outside now though. Yeah.
I grew up in strict households. It was like my mom and my stepdad were very strict. I'm a pastor's kid, so it was just like,
ooh,
there's a lot of dynamics there. And then my dad, like, he didn't care as much, but he still didn't let me go outside.
Oh,
you know?
man.
It's like whatever I couldn't do at my mom's house, I tried to do at my dad's
house. Were you the only child, or
yes.
do you have brothers? Oh, okay.
I do have two older siblings. They were step siblings, like 10, 15 years older than me. We didn't grow up together, so it's like
a little bit different dynamic.
They are there,
yeah.
But I don't get to interact with them as much. More so my sister than my brother. I see her a lot more frequently. It's a weird story, and I swear she's not related, but she's not related. No. She's not actually related to me, but my stepmom married my cousin.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, my stepmom's sister married my cousin.
Okay.
So it's like she was there. Like I knew of her, but she wasn't my sister yet until my dad married her. And then I was like, oh, okay. So it's like, you're not my cousin, but all your cousins are my cousin.
Either way, y'all motherfuckers is interlocked some way,
so like
before.
I have more relationship with her, her and my nephews and like all those cousins over there. But
you probably had that strict household like when you were a kid, because people are very defensive over little girls. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially that. Like my mom was not playing.
Yeah, my wife's mother was the same way, where she didn't let her do after school programs, sports, none of that stuff. Like, I want you in the house when school's over, kind of thing.
I did do some of those things. I will say it was more like
she let her work
independently outside.
Okay.
Like if a kid came and knocked on my door like, hey, you want to come out and play? My dad would say no. But like I did a lot of things just like not independently. Like I took a lot of classes. I just a couple after school things. Like I remember in elementary school I did step. I was in band, marching band. Yeah. I was in marching band.
What instrument you play?
Played was clarinet.
The clarinet.
Because everyone wanted to be a violin.
Squidward.
To play the violin.
The violin is.
And I was like, I'm not going to be like everyone else. Give me that. And then I realized I couldn't sing and do it at the same time. Also, I didn't care for it anymore. I'm not the most disciplined person, which is why I'm working on it now.
Right.
I didn't want to rehearse it every day. I was like, okay, well.
So what are you doing now to build that discipline? I know you mentioned like you've gotten hold of, but like in what areas, or is it just discipline across the board? Like, or is it just specific areas that you feel you needed to be a little bit more on point with? I
mean, I will say sort of across the board. I know spiritually I want to be more disciplined. I don't have like a schedule for life, so I feel kind of all over the place. So I wanted to get disciplined there too.
You don't write down your goals?
I'm really bad at it. Yeah.
You gotta write down your goals.
It's really funny because like right now, like with moving and everything, I'm going through all these boxes and it's just like all these notebooks my mom got me over my life, and every single one of them is empty.
Oh my god! Look, but you got a whole bunch of fucking notebooks now.
I'm not a writer. Well, I can't say I'm not a writer because like I did write when I was younger, but it was like I feel like I've always been a kind of lazy individual, and I'm trying to work myself out of that.
So as far as like the spiritualism goes, I know in a lot of spiritual things they always tell you, write down what you want, set your intention. Yes. You know what I mean?
And it is work that I need to do.
So
absolutely, work that I need to do.
That was the one that I didn't start like on the spiritual path to maybe 3 years ago, and that was one of the first things that I did was just like I started like journaling, and then like maybe a year in, I wrote down what I actually wanted it was only 12 months of what I wanted, but like,
Still,
it's something. It's something. It keeps you from running around like a chicken with your head cut off. I think so.
Yeah.
You know.
No, it's something my mom tells me to do all the time, and I don't know why. I just don't.
You're like, fuck you mean?
No, it really isn't that. Like, I understand what she means, and I know I need to do it. I just never get around to it. Like, I feel like part of it is just really bad short-term memory.
Oh, dude, are we gonna write a 12-month plan today, you and I, before you leave?
I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Oh, you got the time.
I would also have to think about what I want. That's another thing I'm trying to figure out
now.
I
would say that's the hardest part.
I've been such a go with the flow person my whole life. Like, I just show up and it's like, whatever happens, happens. Cool, I'm in it. Like, it's whatever.
I think you need those moments where you just gotta live in it.
Yeah, but I've lived my life like that. So at this point, I'm like, especially like as I get older, I'm like, I need to figure out what I want for myself versus just showing up somewhere and seeing where it takes me. Like, that's cool and there's a place for it, but there's also a place to be structured and to have goals and to reach them. Like, everyone's like, oh, what do you want to do with your music? And I'm like, I don't know.
I haven't figured it out.
Honest to goodness, I don't know. I'm kind of just figuring it out. I've only been doing this a year.
You've only been doing music for a year?
Yeah, March 26th was my first performance.
That's what you consider doing?
And I want to say that I wrote and recorded that song maybe like a month before that show with Darius.
Were you singing and writing like at home before you actually started recording and performing, or that's the beginning?
Barely.
Oh wow.
Like there might be a notebook or two.
What the hell were you doing with your time then?
I don't
just
know.
Going with the flow.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm trying to figure stuff out now, because I'm like, I really was just kind of coasting, just allowing whatever to happen. That's a really dangerous place to be, because you can end up in some really dangerous places when you're just on autopilot. Yeah, it's just like, I guess I'm kind of wherever, whatever. Like, it's a good feeling in the moment, but it's just like, there really is no direction. You're just kind of going. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I believe that God had something very specific intended for my life, in me being myself and in me walking in my own purpose. Like, I feel like that sort of predestined conversation is always weird. So it's like, oh, so he just planned everything for you? It's like, nah, he just wants you to learn how to be the best you and to walk in how you operate, because as you walk in how you operate versus everyone else's, you're gonna do what you're meant to do, right? And as you're doing what you're meant to do, you're fulfilling your purpose. All that predestination, he's like, you're doing what you're supposed to do because it's for you, exactly, and that is the purpose. Yep. You know, and you contribute to the world in that way. Whenever you out there, yourself to the world and you show them love in that way. And I'm like, okay, I wanna do that, and I want to be organized. I really do believe that knowledge is power, and that discipline is true freedom. And so I'm like, I really do want to understand what that life of freedom looks like.
Are there any methods that you implore to like help you with your with building discipline? Like for me, I wanted to like put on 10 pounds of muscle. It hasn't happened yet. I still plan on doing it, but like I started doing push-ups, and I was like, I'm not gonna just get down in the fucking middle of the day or every night and just do push-ups. I was like, and then I ran up on this one thing called Kaizen, which is like it's a Japanese philosophy of, if you do everything for 1 minute at least every day, 1 minute, eventually it'll become habitual. Yeah. And then I started that with just 1 minute, and my first night I did 28 push-ups. I felt like such a fucking loser. I felt like a loser. Yo, but I'm telling you, we're giving each other proud.
I can really do 8 push-ups.
Yo, but for me, honestly, I thought I was like, a minute I can get out 40 of these things. I did 28, and I was like struggling with like the last like 5. And it was like, wow, I got something to actually push forward to. Yeah. And then it got to a point where I started doing 100 a night in like 2 minutes. And then I was like, okay. But then I stopped. Yeah. I was like every night I was like, okay, I'm just going to do 100 push-ups a night. But it got boring. I just stopped reaching my next goal. So like, I plan on going back to it. I broke a bone in my elbow a couple weeks ago.
You broke your elbow?
I broke a bone in my elbow. Like I can't touch my shoulder right now. And I can't lift anything over 5 pounds. I can straighten it about this much. That's me still playing football like I'm 10 years old. So, listen, it's a part of me from my childhood that I'm just not willing to let go of yet.
I really don't feel like you have to. I feel like there are definitely, as you grow older, there are ways to make sure that you keep yourself conditioned and to work through that so you can keep doing it. Maybe at lesser levels, if it just doesn't work for your body to do it at the same you know,
I mean, my body didn't.
That you did when you were younger, but like.
I mean, I'm not playing tackle football or anything, but like, you know, landing with another person on you doesn't feel as good as it used to. You know, one of those kind of things. So
just a tad bit more brittle.
Yeah, it was a real reality shock, but. I'll be back out there next spring sometime.
Yeah,
that's the goal. But are there
that working, and we'll definitely get there.
Exactly. So like, are there any like things that you use to help you with your building of discipline? Or is it more like just you just deciding?
At the moment, it's just do it. Like I said, I tend to be a more conscious person these days, where it's just like when I'm doing something, I'm like, okay, now I know I should. And the biggest thing is that I used to just choose not to. I'd be like, I could do it tomorrow. I'll just keep putting it off and procrastinating. But as of late, it's just been like, just do it. Like, it's funny you said, like, I'm not going to just be out and just, you know, drop it a whole bunch of, literally me and Rosie did that the other night. We were at a party and I was like, all right, let's go squats. And we literally sat there at the party doing squats. And it's like we keep making excuses saying, oh, we can't. It's like, well, who told us that? Who gave us that rule? Who gave us that boundary that's like, oh, you can't do that. At the end of the day, I want to live my life the way I want to live it. And it's not necessarily who's going to check me, but if it's not hurting anyone, especially myself, and I might look weird doing it, but it's not like a bad thing, I'm going to try. Maybe. How
do you feel about like you saying y'all doing squats at a party? Do you care that people are watching? And
I do not.
No, you don't give a fuck. Why don't you care? Because the average person gives a shit. People do not like looking stupid.
I got bullied a lot when I was younger. And I kind of like not that people's words don't still like affect me.
Yeah,
it's like they do. Words have power, which is why I try to be more intentional about what I say, even about how I joke. Like I do realize you still speak things into existence, and so do you want to jokingly curse yourself or like I'm trying to be more conscious about these things, But it's like at the end of the day, okay, you have a problem with it, and like how does that affect my life? Because you're gonna go home and be mad about it, and I'm gonna keep doing my squats, like like I don't care. It's like at the end of the day, people can speak into your life if you give them the power to, and I try not to give people that power. At the end of the day, I like doing squats.
It's like, hey man, in general, it's just holla at me next summer.
And that's something that Rosie has been really helping me like learn to do. Like we keep just kind of like pushing each other to that next level. We're just like, hey, well, why not? Okay, just do it. Okay, just do it. All right, we're doing it. Let's go.
And it always feels good too.
And it always feels good.
It always feels good.
We get so scared and we tend to like limit ourselves because of the fear of it, the fear of the unknown. It's just like, but what if you just did it? What if you just tried and just like do it scared? Like literally our mantra right now is do it scared. We're doing a lot of things right now that are really scary. And it's just like,
fucking
there's
anyway.
So much unknown, but it's just like, but there's also so much possibility for amazing things to happen. So we're just like, you know what? Trust God. Do it scared.
And what role does, because I heard you mention God a couple times, and what role does he play in your life now?
He plays a lot bigger of a part, I guess. Like I've always believed in God. Like I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus, the Holy Trinity. I was about to say, I'm about to be like, song.
It looked like you were about to break out into some type of dance or something.
But it's just like, I feel like at the end of the day, well, not at the end of the day. When I was younger, it felt more of like a thing that I had to do. Like even when I was younger, I believed in God. It makes sense. For me, I've seen a lot of evidence of God being real and of Jesus being real, especially in my parents' lives, because I've watched my mom. She's probably the biggest influence in that.
Shout out to all the moms out there.
My mom, Dr. Elaine Davis.
Oh shit, your mom's a doctor?
She's 2 doctors.
In what?
Psychology and
oh damn, she's a doctor.
Medicine.
That probably was complicated growing up. Like whenever you thought you was scheming on her, she had you figured out.
I don't know. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I'm an only child. Only children are really sneaky because we don't have sibling things on. Yeah. So it's like if I did something, I'm doing it.
Yeah,
so that
you
don't know it would ever happen.
Yeah.
You know. And I know I got away with a lot of stuff. There was a lot of stuff I didn't, but a lot of stuff I'm pretty sure know. Because I'm like, if she would have known the reaction, I know what her reaction would have been, and I'm like, I probably would not be alive right now.
She would have lost her shit.
But no, not that, not actually. My mom has been a very steady and consistent person who is just like I've seen her walk the discipline. I've seen in the times where she was scared and fearful of things, but she said, I'm going to do it scared anyway, and I'm going to trust God anyway, that every single time he elevated her. When she was just like, I'm going to humble myself and do what I know to be right, despite what everyone else is saying or thinking or doing.
Right.
Every single time. Every single time. And it's just like,
how do you argue with this?
Granted, faith is like something about the faith is something about the things unseen. Like, the proof of things unseen or something like that. I don't know. I have to look it up.
The proof in things.
It's like, realistically, I'm trying to like think of like the scripture and the definition, but for me, faith is just like, even though I can't see it, I know it's there.
It's like oxygen. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like oxygen and gravity. It's like we don't see it, but we know that it's there and it's doing what it's supposed to do.
Right.
That's faith, period. So it's just like, and I've seen her walk that out and live that out with Christ at the center. And to think of where she started, like if y'all ever met her and like heard her testimony, her life now doesn't make any sense at all.
It's funny. I want to get a psychologist up here. That's been a goal of mine. I don't have any friends that are psychologists, unfortunately.
You have a friend whose mom is a psychologist.
So I mean, shoot, if your mother be interested, I'd love to. Maybe
I'm sure she would, honestly.
This is the type of shit I want to talk about up here.
But yeah, it's like I've literally seen her walk it out, and I'm just like, okay, well, at some point you can't just like see the answer and keep ignoring it because it's too hard,
right?
You know, and I feel like that's what it really came down to. Like, trusting God is hard because you don't see and you don't know the answers and you don't have like the full game plan. It's just kind of doing the next right thing. And
having the faith, like you said, of that is going to get you to the next level on top of that.
Pretty much.
I love to say, like, every challenge we've ever had to face, we managed to get over the hump. So why would this essentially be any different than those situations?
Exactly.
I think people have a hard time of choosing of letting go. I'll say that. I think people have a very hard time of letting go of what they know, of what's comfortable and things like that. And I think that stands in our way of growth because we know what this is and this right now is good enough.
Deal with the devil you do rather than the
devil you don't.
And it's like comfortability really is stagnation.
Fuck yeah.
It'll keep you trapped wherever you are. And if you're too scared to just try the next thing, you'll never grow. You'll kind of just, like, you know, like in those movies, like I'm a big anime fan. Like
I just recently started getting into anime lightly, but
it's been taking over a little bit. But like you know, like in a lot of those like Marvel movies and stuff, like the Aquaman where he went down to the sea.
I didn't see it.
Oh,
I seen every other Marvel movie but that. I swear.
Did you see Treasure Planet?
No.
Okay. Well, this usually
I'm
just
so
like
sorry.
a dude in a chair.
Okay.
Like, usually like some kind of king or some ruler, and they were so obsessed with whatever they had that they sit in their throne and they die on top of all the things that they had, as if that was the most important thing. But whatever. I digress.
You can't take it with you.
Yeah, you can't take it with you. But like, they were comfortable where they were, and they literally died there. Like, you see their bones and clothes and everything is still just right there where they left it.
Just died in that
That was comfortable. Granted, I don't know how comfortable you are when you're dying, but usually it's a slower process, so maybe you don't notice. You know? Kind of like, you know, the frog analogy is like if you put a frog in hot water, it's going to jump right out. If you put it in cold water, just slowly turn up the heat.
They won't even realize that
they don't realize it. Eventually it's just like,
yep. Yeah, it's too hot in this bitch.
Yeah, it's like that's kind of life. If you allow yourself to just stay in the water you're already in instead of jumping out your pot.
What do you say to those? What do you have to say to those people that are kind of like on the cusp of where I've been, where you've been, where they're like, you know, I want to get these things right. I'm trying to get these things right, but I don't know where to start. I don't know the first step that I should be taking to start doing these things.
First step. I mean, I believe that the first step is to get yourself right with God and figure out who you are in Christ. Like, knowing how God made you and knowing how He wants you to be you. Understanding yourself will help you understand God a bit more too, you know? And then once you figure out what it is that you want from life, what it is that you love, like, or do that too, you know, figure out what you want, figure out what you love, do that plan thing. There was
do that plan thing.
Like, I feel like that is probably a big thing right now for me. And try to grow. I feel like that's where my stagnation is. The fact that am not like, I'm like, I want to grow, and I'm like trying to build discipline and whatnot, like in a whole bunch of other areas, except for I feel like the main one of get your life and your headspace together. Like, I have to make that plan. I have to write it out. There's I was praying about it. It's really crazy. I was praying about like wanting to be more intentional with my music and wanting to get sort of like my life in order. And literally as I'm praying, I have this really bad habit of just like, oh, something happened on my phone, and I ended up going on Instagram.
You gotta put on D&D to pray.
Yeah, no, literally. I ended up scrolling Instagram, and
the first thing that pops up.
This artist called Who Am I? He showed up about having creatives with a purpose open mics. I was like, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Come
yeah.
on,
Look
like,
at the fucking opportunity.
I literally am sitting here praying about it, and then here it comes in my face, like an opportunity. And he had a bunch of material and music that was just right what I needed when I needed it, and even a journal to help me start figuring that out. And I know it's something I need to do because it's something I keep procrastinating.
Do you know the name of the journal?
It's like a create yourself journal. If you go on his Instagram, it's literally Who Am I?
I love those journals, like the prompt journals. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it has some really like deep questions. So you have to really sit there with it.
And reflect.
Which is something I don't like to do, to just sit and be still. That's another thing I'm learning, to just be still, because I'm so.
I was gonna ask, do you meditate?
No. I need to.
Meditating is a practice that I think everybody should do, but it is really hard to like sit there. It's very uncomfortable to begin to just sit there and just recognize like how many fucking thoughts go through your brain, how much bullshit goes through there, how much things you worry about, and it's like.
See, I feel like I have a sort of different approach to meditation. Like I have before, but I feel like meditation is filling yourself intentionally. Like to pick something and be like, fill on just this one thing. It's like a focused thing, a prayerful thing, rather than just like emptying your mind. Like I don't want an empty mind. I want it very specifically to be full of the things that I need.
Yeah.
The knowledge that I need versus just a whole bunch of fluff. Like we get inundated with so much fluff throughout the day with social media and just like.
Just a bunch of nonsense that we don't.
Lives. It's just like, nah. I feel like meditation is intentional filling.
I think I
which
use
is why
it.
It's so hard for me to do, because I have to sit still and
you have
something,
to be intentional.
You know?
Yeah, that's why I don't do it that way. There is some times where like I'll do meditations, and if I do intentional meditations, it's typically like a guided meditation, because it is really hard to kind of pick one thing that, you know what I mean? Like if I want to practice more gratitude, like it's a lot easier to have somebody help me through like of getting my brain to focus on gratitude and things I should be grateful for and things like that. Like my brain, I'll be like, okay, I'm grateful for my health and my family's health, and shit, I forgot to let the dogs out. And then I'm sitting, you know, now there's a bunch of bullshit. Yeah, now a bunch of bullshit's going through there. But like, I think the emptying your mind part is very important, because I think we get a lot of bullshit that we run into on a daily basis that we don't necessarily get to comb through and then weed out what doesn't need to be there. So I definitely recommend it for anybody. I don't meditate as much as I probably should, but
that. Like, how does one like it doesn't just go away?
No,
I feel like it gets replaced.
For me, the easiest way that I can explain it is the thoughts when you close your mind to sit still and just be alone in that moment. The thoughts are going to come into your brain, but it's not a matter of processing through each thought. It's more of like, okay, I recognize that. Now I'm going back to the breathing. I'm going back to and before you know it, there is no more thoughts. There is no more thoughts. And it's just you just being and breathing and just,
on that.
Relaxing and focusing on that and just being still and calm for that moment and silent. You know what I mean? How many times of the day do we actually get to sit there and be silent?
I do that a lot.
Really?
It's weird.
Well, you don't got kids yet.
True.
Yeah.
But I don't drive with music.
No?
I can drive from here to New York without a drop of just silence.
I can't do that. I can do that but I turn on like voice memos and I just talk.
Oh, I should do that.
I like that. Like if you
like,
don't journal or anything, I like doing that too.
But yeah, like I actually do have a lot of silent time. I don't listen to music all that often. I have to remember to go turn something on and be like, oh, let me go check this out. But for the most part, like, it's just silence.
Where does the creative juices come from then?
I don't know.
No.
It's really funny.
I believe you. The way you said that shit.
Like I guess when I write, it's just the inspiration or the feelings of the moment. Like I remember writing Hate. It was just like, it was definitely the feelings of the moment. It was like all my songs. If you ever listen to my music, it's just
I'm gonna check some out. I haven't got an opportunity to.
They're just really vulnerable pieces.
Just the clips that I pass on Instagram, and I see you singing at open mics and stuff like that. But I am definitely gonna go check out some of the music.
Yeah, a lot of my music are just, I guess those are my journal entries, because they're always like,
I think it's a great way
oriented. It's just like, this is what happened in the moment, and maybe Darius made me a beat, and now I'm thinking about it, and suddenly these words make sense together.
Do people ever give you a hard time, like whenever you show them your music and they kind of feel like, oh, I think you're talking about me in this? Do they ever give you a hard time about that or no?
I mean, no, but at the same time, yes. Like the person knows. They know who they are. Honestly, most people know who they are.
Yeah, I'm talking about your ass.
Like, yeah, no, he knows. We've had conversations about it. I've sang them to him and in front of him, and
but you gotta get that shit out.
Yeah, I was like, I gotta, like, it's not like he didn't know. Again, I try to be a very communicative person. It's like, I'm not just gonna sit here and be like, I feel all these things and you never knew. That's weird.
Yeah.
It's like how
just springing it, just throwing the whole bucket of water on them.
I want to address it. Like, if you did something to me, I'm going to address it. If I did something to you, I'd want you to address it. So there's not going to be like any shock, like, oh, I never knew you felt like this. Like, no, I told you. And if you decided to ignore that, that's on you. But I know that I was very clear about how I felt, and I let you know. And either we worked through it or we didn't. And I made a song about it.
Hey, you etched in stone.
Yeah, but it's like, there's definitely no blindsiding when it comes in that sense. When it comes to me, I'm just like, I like to be intentional with my relationships and make sure that I'm being reciprocal, because I'd want you to tell me if you had an issue. I'm not too proud to be like, oh, I can't make mistakes. Like, I know I make mistakes daily, and I know that even in all of my health-mindedness, that I can still treat people without the love that they deserve.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I don't mind
humans. I don't mind people checking me in love, or you could check me however you want to, whether I pay attention to you or not.
But you're gonna get a better response if it's coming from a place of love.
Yeah, I just, like, I've noticed, like, even when people do try to get on me like that, it's like, I understand you're mad and you're trying to break me down. There might still be some truth in there, and I can still take that truth and be like, sit with it. Like, all that other stuff, yeah, not me. But that might apply. How can I make some moves here so that I'm not doing this anymore? And then letting my friends and my family know so that they can hold me accountable with it as well.
Right.
Like, accountability is a big part for even growing the discipline, because you can't get disciplined if you
don't even know what the fuck you're doing wrong. Just
be like, oh, I'm going to put it off. And now it's just like, it's put off for forever and no one knows
anything. Yeah. What's your favorite part of creating? Whether it be music, poetry, whatever you create, what's your favorite part of it? That's a good question, right?
It is. I mean, I feel like I just kind of enjoy the process.
That's what I love to hear, the process.
Sort of thinking through the process. It's like, I feel like more often now than maybe before. Like, when I was younger, if I was writing something, the sound and the words came just from my head, versus now where it's like, oh, usually I have some kind of beat or a song already that I'm building on top of. Excuse me. But I like being able to connect with something that I hear. Because, like, I don't connect with everything that I hear. It's just like, you can skip that. I don't like that beat. It's not really speaking to me. It's more like they'll play something, and so maybe if I get in a word or I have a particular feeling in mind when I hear the song, and then being able to build on top of that.
Do you ever get, like, really excited in the heat of the creative process? Like, oh my God, I can't believe I just made that. Yeah.
No, a couple weeks ago, so I just became a Rec Philly member.
A what?
Rec Philly.
A Rec Philly member?
Yeah.
What's that?
It's basically like an exclusive sort of studio space.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to be a member to have access to everything. They have, like, a plethora of studios and equipment.
That sounds fire.
Yeah, I think Diddy just invested in them, so they literally have, like, a brand new, like, multi-million-dollar facility.
She's like, flexing on us.
No, I really I feel like that was probably, like, the best investment I could have made in myself in all these goals that I have. Like, to have access to all the things that like, for me, like, all I really know how to do is sing. I don't know the production aspect.
I disagree with that. But
no, like, I mean, like, I don't understand.
Okay. Musically.
Yeah, musically.
Okay.
Very specifically.
I was about to say.
Like, I don't know the production aspects and, like, how to make beats and how to mix and match. Like, I don't know how to record things, like all that stuff.
I mean, you're a year in though.
Yeah, no, so
you're
it's
a year in.
It's understandable.
Yeah.
Which is why I think that this investment was so good because they have all that there. Like you can go and use their podcasting rooms. They'll give you all the mics and cameras that you need.
You might have to send me some links so I
Bro,
can.
so I do it. You can bring guests. So I do it with me anytime. If
Hey.
you want to do more podcasts and stuff with me and some other guests or whatever, we literally.
Hey, maybe we can set something up there.
But yeah, you have access as a member to all of their facilities and all of their equipment. They have like dance rooms, they have photography rooms, all the cameras and equipment you need for it. Like you literally just walk up and like, I need this camera, I need that microphone, these batteries, those cords, blah blah blah. And they say,
and they give you the space to use it.
And they give you the space to use it.
Oh,
they have so many different kinds of
hookup.
studios. They even have like I think there's this one like it's like a Muse Studios. It's like a European brand
of studio.
Yeah, of brand studio. I don't know. Like it was like a European music company, and they branched out into the U.S. in their space. So like you even get access to them.
Wow.
And they'll come and.
So this is why your ass always in Philly.
I literally just signed up last month.
Oh.
I was already out in Philly, and I just realized as I was out in Philly that everyone was like, "Oh yeah, I'll be at Rec." I'm like, "What?" And I think Darius had told me about it before. We were all talking about doing it. And I was like, "Actually, that sounds pretty good," because like. I ain't got access to none of this, and for me to try to build up my own stuff like this would cost thousands.
Yeah, it's tough. It actually isn't too much to like get the basics of like recording, but if you're investing in yourself,
if I was trying to build all this stuff even for myself, like in a home studio to have all my cameras and microphones, like
it's gonna take time. Yeah,
and now I can just go to Philly, which is probably already there.
Just go to Philly.
You know, like
a little 45-minute drive up the turnpike.
Not for real, especially the way I drive.
You be fluid. The side eye,
bombastic.
Yo,
but
that's
funny. I was talking about that, but
we were talking about the creative process.
Oh yeah. I went to a songwriters club. Hello, my now good friend Suf. He's a DJ out there.
Shout out,
Maria. Yeah.
Give you shout outs.
Suf and Maria. And basically it was sort of the same thing. It was like a bunch of creatives in this one room, and they're just playing beats, and we're just like, "Ooh, I heard something." And it was funny because I thought it started at a certain time and it started a bit later, and I got there really late. And so like, there's all these people, and I walk in, I'm like,
oh shit.
All right, we here. So I'm like, just sort of go in, do it scared, go in and sit down, find a corner, start playing music. And I was like, oh, I got something. And I was like the first person on the mic. And I was like, okay, Becca, I guess you're setting the tone, but I still have something, just put it out there, do it scared. And it was amazing to be in an environment where all these people and all these ideas and all these sounds just immediately got my juices flowing. Just
so
like
I have a question. So when
like, yes.
when you go up there, like what are you're about to sing something in front of a room full of people
that I've never met before.
That you never met before. And what was this like? Supposed to be like some big ass meetup collaboration?
Yeah, it was just a songwriters club, like playing music and practicing songwriting. Essentially.
Oh, that sounds fucking fire.
I think they have like another one coming up soon too.
That sounds fire.
Thing, but like. It was just, I was so happy for that environment at that moment too, because I was just like you said, you're like, where does creativity come from? I'm like, I don't know.
But it sounds like, being in this space.
I was just like, whoa. I came out with a full song at the end of it. Like, I didn't get to record it all because it was like, we all have to put some stuff on a track, and it would have been like an 8-minute thing, But I was just like, I still have something I could use even if I put it on like a new beat or something,
Yeah.
Like I literally came out with a full song, and that's very rare. Like sometimes I'll come out with like a verse and maybe a chorus.
But when the energy's right.
But I just kept writing and kept writing. I was like, ooh and ooh and ooh.
Flow state.
It just, everything was flowing. And I was just like,
yeah.
I knew this was the right choice.
When you're home and you're like doing your creative process, what does that kind of look like? I love to talk about this because
I'm not really sure if I have a home creative process. I don't write too much at home.
No? Wow. Me personally, I love to I go grab my bowl, I go outside, I bring my laptop, my computer, my phone. I'll start beat surfing, whether it's on like BeatStars or YouTube, and then I'm off to the races.
I did that more at Rosie's house than anywhere else.
Okay, so that's like where your creative juices get flowing as far as like being home. Essentially,
yeah, she definitely had like a second home kind of feel, like her apartment. But
have you ever heard her song Step One?
No.
I'm gonna put you onto some classic Rosie.
It's really funny too because it's like I had Voisey and she also had Voisey before we knew each other. Mm-hmm. She was like, "Oh, I have a Voisey," and then I looked at how many voices she had, and I was like,
"What's a Voisey?"
It was like kind of like an Instagram for creatives.
Okay.
but not even that's a really bad example.
Like a SoundCloud?
Yeah, there we
Okay.
go. It was like producers could just go up and throw beats up, and then if you want to do something on it, you could, and you just have like
Oh,
a
that
repertoire
sounds
of usually
that sounds
like
cool.
30-second clips.
Yeah.
You probably get a verse or a little chorus or something like that. They were short. It was really that was what I did at home.
It was like It was like
it was spur of the
sparring.
moment. Just listen to beats. Ooh, I got a verse, and then you just quick record it, like whatever you got, and that was just a thing. You know, I have a lot of voices that I put down like the lyrics. I was like, I need to make full song. Thank you for reminding me of that, because I forgot that I had all this material just sort of in the cut. Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh my
goodness, Rosie, we got some work to do, sis.
Oh man. Well, I'm glad I could
yeah.
help. I'm glad I could help in the smallest way, shape, or form.
I forgot about that. But yeah, so like I was just like looking through all her stuff, and honestly, it overwhelmed me. There was so much. I was like, yep.
I met her when I was like what,
Can't read all this right
17. I was with a group at the time. It was me and a dude named Eddie Shanks. We had a rap group called Vice Versa, and she came over and she did like a song with us. I'm not sure if it was just a verse or a hook, but I met her then when I was like 17, and we always stayed connected throughout the. We had a couple music videos, but we had a falling out. The YouTube page got thrown out, and things get ugly when people have disagreements about things.
That's one thing I love about Rosie, because we disagree so well. We've learned the art of compromise, especially since we know it's just preference. We know there's no hate. There's just like, this is what I want. Like we'll literally like sift through things until we find something both of us can appreciate, versus just like, well, you don't like what I like, I don't like what you like. Well,
Fuck out of here.
like even now, and like trying to figure out how we're doing life and stuff together. It's just like, this is what I want and this is what you want. So how do we come to a mutual agreement here?
Yeah.
And when it can't, it's just like, okay, is it really gonna kill me to compromise here, to humble myself and just be like, it's okay, it's not life or death that I don't get my way, you know?
And 9 times out of 10, she'd do the same thing for you, like, you know what I mean?
10 times out of 10. Yeah, that's so. She's one of those really rare quality people that you don't get to meet all that frequently.
You called her your soul sister. For anybody who know about soul ties, you know what I mean? Like, those are people that you locked in with for life.
Ain't no switching up.
Ain't no switching. Yeah. You ain't getting out of here alive. One of those kind of things. But we're actually coming up on the hour. It's crazy, right?
Oh, dang.
It flies by.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Are there any last things you want to leave the people with? Any poetry, music, any final words about anything we talked about?
Ooh.
I feel like there's a lot we didn't get to talk about too.
Yeah. Part 2.
I invited everybody up here who came on for the first time for a second visit. Same goes for you, because, like I said, there's just always so many things we don't get to cover in an hour.
I mean, sort of just keeping with that theme, just like learn to be one with yourself and do it scared, because fear is the biggest thing that will keep you back in life. Like, knowing yourself, and then when you figure out yourself, find your plan, and when you find your plan, do it scared. Excuse me, do it scared, because a lot of the times when you decide to make that choice, I just said the same thing twice, but
I understood it.
When you make those choices,
it's like talking to myself. Like, who else?
Like everything is gonna come against you to make sure that you don't bring it into fruition. Like, the enemy is going to try everything he can to make sure that you're not you, because you hold so much power as yourself.
Right.
And there's so much purpose in your life for you to just be you, that you could make waves, make ripples. Like, a small drop can make a freaking tidal wave.
Right.
And that's you. That's everyone. Everyone has their place in life. God made you very intentionally. He said, you're going to be you, and this is all that I have open and available for you, if you can just learn to be you. So when you make those decisions to walk in your purpose, the enemy is going to do everything in his power to make sure that you stop and you cower and you revert back to your old ways, so that you could just stay stagnant, that people won't be able to get your gifting, or you, regardless of other people, that you won't even be able to live your best life based on yourself.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you really have to learn to just do it scared. And then build a community of reciprocal people who are showing you that, hey, not only do I have good character and good intention, but I have the best intention for you as well. And I'm willing to do this walk with you no matter what happens, no matter the conflicts that we have, the disagreements that we have, realizing that you're bigger than those, and that you can still have very fruitful and fulfilling relationships and lives with people, even though you don't get along about everything. Like,
damn, did you go to speaking class?
no.
You just broke that shit down, yo.
I have a therapist for a mother.
Oh, I told you.
And
That's
on
what I
top
was.
of that,
That's
I
what I was
cyber
getting
schooled.
at.
So like while she was in school for counseling, I was also just in school.
Right.
So like I'd just be sitting there like listening to her with her classes and be like,
You getting double the knowledge kind of thing.
And then like being able to like match that up to with scripture and being like, oh, this makes so much more sense now. Like it's not
You got
an
intellectual
it's not just
side.
what it seems. It's like there's a reason. Like I've always gone like, what's the reasoning behind it? Like here's the rule. Okay, yeah, it's a rule, but screw the rule. Why was the rule in place? What was the character that was trying to be fixed, or the character that was trying to be built in the midst of this rule? That's the way I try to.
You always I'm
always trying to like do the deeper digging because I realize
there's always a why.
Nothing is really just as surface as it seems. Like even when people are like assholes, it's not as surface as it seems. Yeah, you can just be like, that person's an asshole. They don't deserve the time. Like, what made them an asshole?
Yeah,
you don't know what happened. Like,
yeah,
someone could have just crashed into their car, and now you over here trying to cut them off, and you think you're right, but it's just like
you know
you don't know the circumstances behind things. So it's just like a little bit digger deeping and a little grace will get you a long way.
You only know what you think you know. I love to say that.
And
like,
I don't know everything.
Yeah.
So I'm always open to be
like,
what's the next
person
knowledge?
asshole, just like you said, just cut me off. Like they could be on a rush to the hospital. They daughter
I
just,
say that
you know
all
what I
the
mean?
time.
Like we don't know. We don't
what's
know.
going on.
And we can't. And we also can't let that take us out of character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we got to be who we are. You know, we can't stoop to other people's level.
Maintain homeostasis.
Yeah, but I love what you said as far as you know what I mean, trying to find yourself and build on from there. I think once you get a clear understanding of who you are as an individual, I think you can accomplish anything. But if you walk around here just pretending to be somebody or acting like who you roll with, whatever the case may be, you're gonna be one lost person your entire life. You're gonna spend your life looking for something you'll never find because that shit's been in you the entire time.
It's important to cultivate your community.
Yeah,
because
involved.
Honestly, I do want to be like the people I'm around. I want to be like Rosie so bad, but like not like you know,
yeah.
It's just like,
but
I
like
know
how,
that I have other quality people, and that if I'm going to have anyone that I'm going to be like, is going to be like these people who are at the place that I want them to, that I want to be.
Yes.
Like who you surround
they're peers, but they're
with,
role models at the same time.
Who you surround yourself with is extremely important, because if you have just a bunch of nonsense around you, guess what your life becomes?
Nonsense.
You
never see millionaires hanging out with broke people.
That part.
Yeah. you
never see conscious people hanging out with people who are just reactive.
Yep.
Like you can't have both. There's no balance there.
Yep.
Like,
find your community. You cultivate your community, and you do that by finding yourself. Hey, I appreciate you coming up here. Thank you.
So much for having me. Like, this is my first podcast ever too. Yeah. I'm like, oh my god.
I always ask people, like, I didn't ask you today. You didn't seem nervous when you came in. No. Yeah.
Again, I'm just gonna be me.
Yeah,
I'm
gonna
just. You can tell me to leave.
We gonna go with the flow with this shit. I bet your cat now go. Hey, thank you guys for watching. Do you want to shout out your socials quick so people know how to find you?
Yes, my name is Bekah Elaine. So it's BEK. There's no C's. BEKAH. Elaine. You can find all of my everything anywhere if it's there. Probably through that Bekah Elaine. My Cash App is BEKAHHEG.
You just shout out your Cash App?
I sure did.
That's hustle.
Support the artists.
Support the artists. Support the fucking creatives.
And be on the lookout for new stuff, for new music, for events and stuff. Like I said, I'm outside.
She's doing open mics like every other night, bro.
I have a show tonight in Philly.
Yeah, a 5-hour set. 4 hour set. That's
still too much, but
my God, you better take some tea up there.
I am. I have every intention of going home and making a bunch of teacups and everything. So
take some tea with you. That's a lot of saying.
Thank you so much for having me, man.
No, thank you. Thank you for coming up here. Thank you for coming up here. It was a joy to have you. And we're gonna do it again too. Are we gonna make this list after this camera goes off?
Oh, we can. What time is it?
It's 12:17.
I think I have some time.
Yeah. Ooh! Look, we're just gonna get 3 things down that we want.
Yeah.
Over the next 12 months, and we're gonna work towards it. We're gonna do it together. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure you follow. I'll make sure I'll put all the socials in the descriptions on the YouTube and everywhere this podcast is posted, Apple Music, Spotify, everywhere. But make sure y'all follow. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Thank you again for coming up here. Shoot for the moon. If you miss, you're still amongst the stars. Peace.
That part. Why do all the pure hearts get screwed over? Why does the brightest love set dark and lower? I always stayed faithful, loyal, true, but that wasn't enough for you.
won't be played for no fool. I love you deeply, but I don't need you. Speak truth, be you, and love and respect me. This ain't the love I want from you. My heart is just too heavy. Go, I'm tryna grow. I can read your warning signs all down the road. No, now you alone. Go, 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 go. I'm tryna grow.